Imagine the year 2300. The cure for aging is real, but it isn't free. Immortality will likely be the most expensive product in history. This creates a split in the human species. The immortals, the ultra-rich, and the mortals, everyone else. Consider the accumulation of wealth. Compound interest is a powerful force. If a billionaire lives for 500 years, their wealth doesn't get divided. It grows, it compounds. We would see the rise of trillionaires who own entire continents. They would become permanent gods. Politics would freeze. Max Planck famously said, "Science advances one funeral at a time." New ideas only thrive when the old guard dies, but in an immortal society, the old guard never dies. Imagine a dictator who doesn't age. Imagine a Supreme Court justice who sits on the bench for 300 years. Imagine a CEO who refuses to step down. Social progress, civil rights, new art, new philosophy would grind to a halt. We would be ruled by the values of the past forever. And then there is the population problem. If nobody leaves the party, you can't let anyone else in. To prevent the earth from collapsing, governments would have to ban childbirth. You would have to make a choice. Do you want to be immortal, or do you want to have a child? Imagine a world without children, a world without playgrounds, a world where the youngest person is 200 years old. It would be a silent, serious, stagnant world. We would trade the vibrancy of life for the security of existence. We would become a museum of humanity, perfect, preserved, and utterly lifeless. I want you to look at your hand. Pinch the skin on the back of your hand. If you are young, it snaps back instantly. If you are old, it moves slowly. We accept this degradation as a fact of life. We say, death is natural. We say, it gives life meaning. But biologists are starting to say something different. They are saying that aging is not a destiny. It is a disease. And like any disease, it can be cured. For the first time in human history, we are on the verge of biological immortality. This doesn't mean you can't be hit by a bus. It means you will not die of old age. You will stop aging at 25. You will remain in your physical prime for centuries, perhaps millennia. To understand how this works, we have to look at the Hydra. The Hydra is a tiny freshwater animal that is biologically immortal. It does not age. Its stem cells never degrade. If you don't eat it or crush it, a Hydra can theoretically live forever. Humans are not Hydra. Our cells have a fuse. It is called the telomere. Every time your cells divide, the telomere gets shorter. When it runs out, the cell becomes senescent. It turns into a zombie cell that pumps toxins into your body, causing wrinkles, organ failure, and death. But scientists like Aubrey de Grey and David Sinclair are working on technologies to lengthen the fuse. Using CRISPR gene editing and senolytic drugs, we are learning how to flush out the zombie cells and reset the clock. Imagine a world where you go to a clinic once every 10 years, you get an injection, and you walk out with the body of a 25-year-old. The first person to live to be 1,000 years old has likely already been born. They are probably in a kindergarten class right now, unaware that they will see the year 3000. But while the biology is exciting, the consequences are terrifying. Because death plays a vital role in our species. Death is the cleaner. Death clears the board for new ideas. If we remove death, we break the cycle of humanity. We are about to enter a new era where the old never leave and the young never get a turn. We are building a world of permanent stagnation. But the biggest threat to immortality isn't society. It is your own brain. The human brain was not designed to last for a millennium. It has a storage limit. We survive by forgetting. You don't remember what you had for breakfast 10 years ago. You don't remember the face of the stranger you passed on the street. Your brain deletes junk data to make room for new memories. But what happens when you live for 1,000 years? Psychologists predict a crisis of identity. After 300 years, you would run out of storage. To learn a new language, you might have to delete the memory of your childhood. To remember your new wife, you might have to forget your first wife. You would become a ship of Theseus. If you replace every memory, are you still the same person? Or are you just a stranger living in the same body? And then there is the boredom, the ennui. Humans are driven by scarcity. We love, we build, and we create because we know our time is limited. YOLO is the engine of human ambition, but if you have infinite time, there is no urgency. Why write that book today? You can do it next century. Why tell someone you love them? You have 1,000,000 years to do it. Without the deadline of death, passion might evaporate. We might become a species of procrastinators, drifting through centuries of apathy. Imagine having mastered every skill. You have learned every language. You have played every instrument. You have traveled to every city. What do you do for the next 5,000 years? You would crave the one thing you cannot have, the end. Suicide clinics might become the most popular service in the future, not because people are depressed, but because they are finished. They have completed the game and they just want to turn off the console. But let's say you survive the boredom. Let's say you embrace the stagnation. You upgrade your body to be indestructible. You upload your mind to a computer. You become truly immortal. Now you face the ultimate horror, the universe itself. You might live for 1 billion years. You watch the sun expand and swallow the earth. You escape to the stars. You watch the Milky Way collide with Andromeda. You watch the stars burn out one by one. In 100 trillion years, the last star will die, the universe will go dark, and you will still be there. You will be a consciousness floating in an eternal freezing void. There is no light, there is no energy, there is no one to talk to. You have won the game of survival, but the prize is eternal solitary confinement. This is the true paradox of immortality. We spend our short lives desperately trying to avoid death. We fear the darkness. But if we actually succeeded, if we actually defeated death completely, we would eventually realize that death was not a curse. It was a mercy. Death is the exit door. It is the thing that gives the story a structure. A story that never ends is not a story. It is a sentence. So, as you go about your day, worrying about getting older, take a breath. Your time is limited. And that is exactly what makes it beautiful. You are not a diamond meant to last forever. You are a flower meant to bloom and then fade. And in a universe of infinite darkness, the flower is much more precious than the diamond. I am your host. Enjoy your mortality. Subscribe.